Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today, going to be a match between Sky and Jaedong here on Icarus. Cast a game between the two players back in February, but this is going to be a Patreon cast of another game. This is going to be posted at patreon.com/FalconPaladin the week of October the 30th, not August, October the 30th. If you're watching it in the month of October, thank you very much for supporting me on that site for at least $1 a month. And if you're watching this in November, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. I'm here 5 times a week with Brood War content. So right side, we have our purple Protoss named Sky. And on the bottom side of Icarus, it is an orange Zerg player, Jaedong. We know this guy. We know him very well, don't we? Been a while since I've had a Jaedong map, so I figured it was time to bust him out. This is Icarus. I want to say it's a 4-player map. I think that's our spawn location, that's a spawn location, and then these two that we've already seen, right? Right. Your natural base is a bit far away from your main. Your main is humongous, which is really nice for Protoss and Terran. They like having a lot of real estate to build buildings in. You have all this north area, you got this down here, you got this, yeah. You can fit a lot of gateways in this bad boy. Zerg doesn't give a crap, it's just actually more area for stuff to recall into their base and drop, so a bigger base is not as good for them. And hatch firsting here at about 11 supply, oh sorry, 12 supply, I apologize. 12 supply here is Le Jaedong. On the other side, what is Protoss up to? Forge expanding. As you do when you don't know what your opponent is doing, and now probe scouting. Da 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 da. Probe says hatch first, excellent. I don't spend all that many resources on cannons here. That's going to be really good news for me. Wop wop wop. And a pool. Nothing too surprising here from Jaedong. As you can tell, these two used to be on the same team. Hwasong OZ. Which means they practice against each other a whole ton. I actually have a bunch of Jaedong versus Sky replays, and Sky is very capable of taking down Jaedong, man. I gotta say, Jaedong, his worst matchup is probably PvZ. He does tend to lose this more than he loses against Terran or lose against other Zerg players. It's a very rough matchup for him for some reason. I don't know what it is. And there you go. Quick third base in response to the Forge Expand. Gateway, no cannons once again, because guess what? The pool's not even done yet. Okay, now it's done. Now it's done, and we're not going to bother with Lings, I don't think. You got scouted, obviously. There's going to be preparations for Lings if they ever show up, and this is going to be a safety cannon here. Yeah, just in case some Lings do pop out of these eggs. Better safe than sorry. There is one set coming up after that drone, but getting that gas income is more important than getting Lings out at the moment. Really, at this stage, the Lings are just going to be there to see when the Zealots move out, if they do at all, if Zealots are made whatsoever. Which, I mean, you're going to want some Zealots if you're a Protoss, and there we go. Zealot production has begun from Sky. So now Jaedong has to balance making a ton of drones at all 3 of his bases and having enough static defense and nice wall-offs to defend against the incoming Zealot attack, because there's probably going to be one of those. Speed lots are pretty good. If they can take down your third base, they will win the game, and they'll do their very best to try. Cybernetics core warping in. Are we surprised by this? No. Sky doing all the things. Metabolic boost is on the way from Jaedong. I guess he wants to catch this probe and actually kill it, which is not easy to do with slow Zerglings, because slow Zerglings are quite possibly the worst units in the entire game. For what they're supposed to be, the only value they provide is killing stuff, and they're very slow, so they can't catch anything. They can kind of barely catch probes a little bit sometimes. Ling's actually heading up to the third, maybe to make sure that is safe. Oh, there is a Zealot up this way. Okay. So, Zealot actually assuming there's a base up here for the Zerg, which would make sense because, I mean, I guess you could just throw up some lurkers at the top of the Shramp or a couple Sunkets and have a good time. Whereas this is more wide open, so maybe Jaedong playing some mind games a little bit, or maybe this Zealot is here to mess with the 4th base when Jaedong tries to toss that up, and that's the intent altogether. Quachwat, quachwat, quachwat. That's the sound a Stargate makes when it's coming up. Quechua, quechua. That is not accurate at all. Spire about 30% complete from Senor Jaedong. We also have a Citadel of Adun coming in for that Zealot leg enhancement upgrade we love so much, don't we? Zealots are so much better when they're fast. They're like Lings. Lings are so much better when they're fast. Everything's better when it's fast. Scouts are better when they're fast. Not that anyone ever makes scouts. But if there's a speed upgrade like Anabolic Synthesis for Ultralisks or Stim for Marines, I mean, sure, Stim also increases your damage output, but the speed is also incredibly important for the RTS. Lings do get a very nice run by all of a sudden, and oh no. No, are there Jaedong Lings inside your house? Oh, it's the worst. They're honestly the worst. Jaedong Lings inside your house mean they're never going to die. Some of them will die, and some of them have died, but at least one should remain alive long enough to be super annoying and scouting all your stuff. I mean, sure, Dragoons are chasing, which is fantastic. It's really nice, but, I mean, the Lings, they have metabolic boost, they're very fast, their angles are good, and I don't know. Maybe Jaedong doesn't care as much. Right, he's seen, yeah, so he's not even running here, so yeah, he knows it's going to be charge lots, it's going to be speed lots, it's going to be Corsairs. Actually, is it going to be Corsairs? Yes, it is going to be Corsairs. And guess who made some Scourge to deal with it? Sure thing, Jaedong absolutely did. Scourge up, here to deal with Corsairs, here to deal with possibly shuttle drops. There's a pretty fast Templar Archives here. If he's worried about a Hydra attack, getting Storm would be nice. Hydralisk Den is done, but going for Lurkers, that's usually not how this works. You're not going to go for a, big saturation on your third and getting Lurker aspect if you're also trying to go for a big Hydra attack. That's usually more of a 2-base thing anyway. So, Zealots do not have leg enhancements yet, but it's almost there, but doesn't matter because there's one sunken. Getting some hits off, and it's pretty good Sim City. It's Jaedong Sim City, man. So Sky decides not to go to the third base. Tis a silly place, but there's also going to be 2 Sunkens at the natural base, too. And the Scourge are trying to scout this stuff, but that's how he brought a Dragoon along, is to kill the Scourge, you see. Ha ha ha. Yeah, oh, the Scourge are just like, you don't have any cannons anywhere at all. What the heck? High Templar are coming in. Are those just going to be for Archons, or are we going to actually start Storm here in a second, Sky? Well, I don't see Storm, actually, so probably Archons then, yeah? I mean, having High Templar sit around, accomplishing nothing, but I guess they're generating energy. It could be worse, I suppose. Maybe they're emergency Archons. If necessary, they'll do the merging that is complete, but otherwise, nah. Trying to hide under this crazy spinny umbrella thing, but not going to work out for those Lings all that much. So we're doing a little Lurker pressure, but I mean, this isn't like a big Hydra swell where you win the game with it, right? This is Lurkers being super annoying. They're maybe going to try to take down this upgrade. That'd be pretty good. Hey, look, emergency. We made some Archons. Oh, he doesn't have detection, though? Oh, man, his Robo's late. Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, this is probably going to be a cancel of the +2 upgrade for ground units. +2 attack for Sky. So that totally and utterly sucks for him. Bad times. This Archon can't do much. I mean, you could maybe go try to place an Archon on top of the Lurker and splash damage attack it with another Archon. The Zealots try to jump in here, but man, there's 2 Lurkers and 2 Sunkens and a Hydra, and 2 Hydras, actually. So no, Sky can't get in there. Jaedong's looking good. And yeah, that's a cancel. He manually canceled it rather than losing the Forge. That sucks, man. Being behind on upgrades is not a good place to be. The cannons are going to keep the Lurkers from just wandering in here and killing everything, so that's nice, but the Observatory's done. Detection's on the way in the form of the Observer, and the Lurkers should probably start getting out of here. And they are. They're, these guys are fleeing. These guys are left behind for the time being. Lurker burrows in range of a cannon, which is not going to help in this fight as much as you want it to. There you go. All right, now burrowing out of a range of a cannon, but it's 97 to 82 supply in favor of Sky. His macro's been pretty good, and now that he has detection, he's actually going to play pretty well versus these lurkers. So good for him. He took a little extra damage. He lost that gateway. He lost that forge. Not ideal. Could be worse. But he's got a nice looking army. His upgrades are... That's the bigger thing, is that his +2 attack was denied and had to get completely restarted. And upgrades take a while for everyone, really. I don't know. How? Does he have drops? He must have drops. He's got a lurker up here. Oh, yeah. He's dropping down here, too. All right, man. Jaedong doing the drop, sniping off the observer, but there's no lurkers in this army. It doesn't make all that much of a difference. And all these hiders are going to get picked off by the speedlots. Numbing them, right? All right, some Scourge getting picked off by Corsairs. I'm telling you, Sky, he's taken some hits, right? Yes, it totally sucks he keeps getting dropped like this. But, I mean, this lurker's got 2 kills, and, I mean, taking down the Stargate would be fairly awesome. I mean, really awesome for Jaedong here to get the Stargate, because future Corsair production will not be as good. But there's already 5 of them here, and they already have +1 attack. And they're pretty scary nevertheless. And Stargate goes down, and Zealots, are there enough Zealots to handle this? I don't know, man. These are +1 lurkers and Hydras fighting. No, definitely not. The Cyber Core dying would be massive. Like, game-ending... That High Templar wandered into death. Is Storm even researched? So the Cyber Core is down, which means... And this lurker Hydra dropped down here, too. Nope, Storm is done. I just heard a Storm. Okay, so Storm is done. That's fine. But now you can't build any more Stargates. Oh my gosh, another High Templar dies. You can't build any more Stargates until you rebuild the Cyber Core, and he's not doing that. Finally, these lurkers and hiders all get cleaned out. This lurker's sitting here trying to take down a Nexus all by himself. Corsairs trying to massacre Overlords to prevent future drops, but if there's one thing Jaedong has a lot of, it's Overlords right now, because he's got 81 supply of stuff. Well, 77 available supply of stuff, but 81 supply of stuff he has supply blocked, which is bad. When behind Dark Templar, says Sky. In StarCraft 2, that is Dark Shrine, because the Dark Shrine is how you build Dark Templar, but not in Brood War. Oh my gosh, this Hydra Lurker combo took this base down. I think Sky is just dead. I'm looking at this. I know Sky has a nice overall army value lead, but he's only on 2 bases. And these high ground hiders are incredibly stupidly annoying. Dude, this shuttle has to just try to come in here. It actually does get in here. Oh man, if the hiders had focused that shuttle, could have killed it, but a bit of a mistake there from Jaedong. Oh, and the Archons cleared out. Awesome stuff. Also, Corsairs ready for further drops in this area. Jaedong's like, oh, okay, so you have Corsairs there. But guess what? 4th base, baby. 4 basing it to trying to get a 3rd base up again while getting attacked by this. Come on, Sky, get in here. Wipe these guys out. You have army for this. Okay, doesn't actually do any... Oh, he does something about it. Hooray. Oh, DTs are in the house, and drones kind of have to fight for themselves here, which is not great, but there's 2 hiders in the mix, too. Dark Templar ends up getting 6 kills, dropping Jaedong down to 47 drones, despite the fact that he is on 4 bases now. He's getting a hive up. Do we assume Ultralisks at this point? Are we just going to go for 3/3 upgrades? Cracklings trade very well versus Zealots, especially if they have upgrades, but Adrenal's especially good. That +2 attack is done for the Zealots, and +3 is on the way. It just goes to show that he'd already had +3 if that upgrade hadn't been canceled thus far. So, Lurkers are at +1 attack and no armor. Not ideal. And Sky's going to try to buy some time for his 3rd base to get saturated here. Not a terrible idea. And oh my gosh, unloading in here is actually incredibly dangerous. Look at this. He's making multiple trips. Jaedong does not see this coming. There's 1 sunken here, but against this many +2 Zealots, that sunken's going to go down fast. That's why the drones are in here trying to save it, body blocking it actually. And then, okay, so 2 lurkers are in the house. The hiders do show up in time. They're just going to go after drones now, not actually try to take down anything that's super important like the Sunken or the Hydras. And very well defended by Jaedong. He caught a whiff of something. Brought the Hydras and Lurkers up here to deal with it. Adrenal is on the way, replacing this third base, he's really just trying to get this third base up and running at 14 minutes, which does not bode well in the long term for our Protoss player at all. Does he have another Stargate up? He does. He got the Cyber Core back. He got the Stargate back up. He's working on that +3 attack. Is he working on air weapons? No, but he's finally getting Singularity Charge. Wow, he didn't have Dragoon range yet. That seems like a bit of a problem at 15 minutes. But yeah, this is the stage of the game where Lurkers are dealing with Zealots and Dragoons. They don't have any Dark Swarm to protect them because there are Defilers just getting started now for the first time. And Consume is pretty far away. Again, upgrades take a while in this game. Going for Flyer Carapace, I guess, to keep. Nice Storm Drop, by the way. Beautifully done. A couple drones die. Pretty good drone pull, though. I mean, all in all, a mixed bag, I would say. Trying to get Lurkers into this base again. Honestly, putting a single cannon right here would be amazing. It would help so much, Sky. This lack of static defense is a concern. It's an absolute concern here. Okay, well, I guess having some Archons up. Nice Observer. Oh, no, nice juke. Archon, 14 kill Archon. He could have taken some of those kills from when he was a High Templar. Anyway. Meanwhile, more DT stuff. Gets 3 kills for a Dark Templar. Not the greatest of trades, but better than Bupkis. And this High Templar would love to toss a Storm down, so he really should, like, right now. Okay. Never mind. He's totally dead. He thought he could walk over creep right past a hatchery and not get called out and subsequently murdered. Not ideal. Corsair group alive as they fly over a group of Hydras and take a bunch of damage. He wants to supply block Jaedong, which, you know what? As far as life goals are concerned, is not a bad one. But the Overlords do not die, despite the fact that they're injured, so that's fine. Look how little saturation is in the main base right now for Jaedong. He only, I guess he's got 60 workers on 4 bases, but yeah, he's going to try to saturate it up. He's lost a lot of drones here as the whole thing. Sky taking the top right here on Icarus for his 4th base. And you know, if Jaedong's still on 4 bases, then Sky's catching up. I told you that Sky is a good Protoss, and I told you that Jaedong can struggle here. Especially against someone who has practiced against him a whole ton, right? Does anybody know Jaedong more at this stage of his career than Sky? Because Sky's practiced against him a whole bunch. I want to say this is like 2012 when these games are happening. Oh, man. Jaedong using the drops. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I really feel like Zerg players who use drops have a much better time winning games against Protoss and against Terran. Is there any time to research drops in ZVZ? No. But against Terran and Protoss, if you get drops, you're going to have a much better time than if you don't have drops. Even if there's Corsairs flying around, and even if you lose a lot of Overlords. You can deny some bases, you can kill some High Templar with it, right? You can kill a Stargate and a Cybernetics core and an entire 3rd base. These drops have been exceptionally useful and productive for Jaedong today. Chitinous plating coming in. We do see the Ultralisks attempted against Protoss, which we haven't seen very much of recently, but I like it. I just like Ultras. Whether they're the best units in the game, they're not, but you know. Man, look at this timing. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we plague. That's what you get for killing all of my Overlords. Is I'm going to plague so many of your Corsairs and make them so much easier to kill. Excellent. Supply blocked Jaedong. Not into next week. You'd think he would be after losing all those Overlords, but apparently he was very oversupplied. So that's not great. Not great for Jaedong. Guess it was +3 attack. Sky does. He's fine. He's got +3 attack. Everything's okay in the world. Of course, it means he's starting his ground armor upgrade late, but attack is really the priority against Zerg. Zergs are squishy, and the harder you hit them, the better. They squish faster, right? 7 Ultras. 9 Ultralisks in production somewhere in some of these eggs. There's a couple. Storm Drop whiffs. Beautiful pull again from Jaedong. Bringing them back to work, and Corsairs kill the Overlords, which means that the DT is invisible, and the DT fighting is really excellent, and that base gets canceled into next week. And this DT's getting some more kills. Oh, getting a drone even. 6 kills on this boy. Look at him go. There's an invisible lurker here too, so that's not ideal. These lings get killed. I mean, it's 182 to 168 supply. Jaedong has the lead at the moment. But at this stage of the game, the Protoss' units are way more cost efficient. The Storm, the Archons, the Zealots, the Dragoons, for the most part, are going to be more cost efficient than what the Zerg player is doing. We could see some fights where Jaedong gets a really nice cost efficient trade. Absolutely. But overall, I don't know. I don't know if I see it. So I'm going to try to unload lings one at a time in here, which is going to work. Sort of. If they had better upgrades besides 2-2, like 3-3 would be awesome. Reavers on the way. The ultimate in splash damage versus Ultralisks. They're killing their own Sunken to get out of here. That's how desperate they are to leave. And they can only leave single file, which actually doesn't bode well for future attempts to get Ultras out of this base and into the action. We recently, well, depending on when you're watching this, but in, I don't know, like the second to last week of October, I cast a game where it was... who was the Zerg in that game? I'm thinking... I don't know. My brain is falling apart here. I've got 3 kids. I have no brain cells left. But it was basically these Ultras popped out. It was Terror, I think. And they were just bopping back and forth here because there's nowhere to go. They couldn't get out because an Ultralisk was blocking them in. It was just like sitting right here, its fat butt. And they just couldn't get out. And I think Terror was like, where? I made a bunch of Ultras. Where are they? And they were just stuck in the natural base. It was hilarious. Making more DTs, right? We've got the Reavers out. We need some more shuttles to control them. The Corsair count is still dead impressive, man. Look at this. Is that another supply block? It's another supply block attempt, but Jaedong still has 200 supply after that, so... it still has 200 available supply after that. So he just made a bunch of Overlords and said, I'm never going to worry about this again. I'm going to give it an attempt anyway. I one Dark Templar did not have a good time. We're not killing enough of these Overlords that there's no detection available anywhere. But this has been, I don't know, this is a pretty tight game at the moment. 187 to 193 supply. +1 armor is done. Working on +2 armor. The Ultralisks do have the chitinous plating and stuff. Pretty good engagement here. Boy, howdy. Just absolutely face smashing into these Reavers and these, oh man, plague on everything. The Archon's getting some nice hits. That splash damage still counts under the Dark Swarm. The direct damage, no, but the splash, yes. And man, the DTs and the Archons, everybody gets plagued, but the Archons don't care. The Storm is good. The Reaver hits are good. And the Ultralisk count, I think, just got knocked down to 1 after that. Didn't he make 9? Yeah, he's got 2 more coming in. He's working on +3 attack for them, as well as ground carapace. So they'll have the 5 armor, and they'll have the +3 attack soon, which is really nice. But DTs, big swings. Archons, big swings. How do you take down the Ultralisks? Big swings. 8 more Ultras. Jaedong's economy is kind of amazing at the moment. He's really just on the 4 bases still, isn't he? Yeah. He hasn't, wait, yeah, he's working on this 5th. More maybe down here, take your pick. This group of units, I don't know what they're doing. Running for their little Zergy lives, I guess. I think that would explain a lot. Scarab damage on the way. Trying to flank attack, surprise attack the Protoss. It's really good, like really good against Dragoons, our Ultras, but kind of bad against the DTs, especially if they're invisible men, which this guy wasn't at that moment anyway. The Corsair count is not as healthy as it used to be. I think some Scourge hits have been happening, but trying to kill Overlords is the Corsair's duty pretty much all the time. The Hydras have been doing really well against them too, especially since they've been plagued. So that would make a ton of sense. All right, man. It's 200 to 178 supply. Sky is throwing up a 5th base here. And Jaedong, he's got his 5th rolling, and he's working on a 6th in that bottom left. Okay, these 2 Ultras are going to die. Guys, get out of here. Okay, fleeing for their lives. A nice, oh, this is a beautiful Zealot DT attack. At a extremely, moderately undefended base here. This DT, oh, taking the Lurker Splash. Oh, there's an Overlord here. Okay, that was big. The fact that there was an Overlord here, I'm not sure if it popped or if it always been there. I don't know what to tell you, but man, Jaedong says, I got here with the drops. Let's try to end you with the drops. Big time drop. Ultras, Lings, Defilers with the Dark Swarm here. Are there Hydras in the mix? I don't see any of these Corsairs taking damage, so probably not. Probably not here. Archon's coming in, trying to deal with these guys, but when you're kind of single file, I guess the one at the backside could help. Oh, dead. Another great plague on the Corsairs here. Disruption might not be bad against these Ultras. That could be interesting, but man, Ultra does go down. I'm not sure these Ultras have done enough damage to really warrant what they're doing here today, but I guess they're killing probes over here, and they took down, I guess that was the Templar Archives maybe, or maybe the Citadel of Adun. But suddenly it's 187 to 145 supply, more Overlords, more Ultras in production. The defense force that came to deal with this group is dead, and Jaedong swinging in for round 2 of the drops. The drops getting the victory here today. Sky is not making good trades. Remember when I said there would be a time that the Zerg player was making better trades than they normally on average do, and this is it. These Ultras are getting huge numbers of kills. Right, 5 kills on that Ultra list. That's when they start paying for themselves. And he's desperately trying to use this Reaver inside a shuttle to handle all of this, but it's not easy. And all of his production's getting wiped out, and he's down to 100 supply. And his bank is okay, but he doesn't have the ability to spend it all that well because he doesn't have the production facilities. And another beautiful drop. Bottom right, Jaedong gets the win. Yeah, Sky GG's out. Jaedong is your winner in 26 minutes and 47 seconds. An absolutely disgustingly fantastic display of ZVP there from Jaedong. And I'm telling you, he has lost these games from time to time, okay? He has. But he's very capable of winning them as well. Man, he's such a monster. His macro was insane. He made all the Ultralisks in the world. He was able to get these 5 bases up. It was 4 bases for a while, and it was touchy for a minute there. But he constantly denied this 3rd base for Sky. That was big. Sky, it took him a while to get this running. Way longer than it should have, right? And overall, that was not going to be good. Oh, also, did he kill this, or did it? We gotta look. Hold on a second. Super fast forward time. I don't think he did. We times 2 this sucker. Blah, blah, blah. This drop here, doing very well. Not enough was sent to deal with it. And I mean, there's a bunch of Reavers over here that maybe could have been dropped over to help out, but I don't know if Sky forgot about them or what. I thought maybe they had died to something, but I think they just sit here for the rest of the game, and Sky is not able to remember that they exist. Oh, wait. No. He does. Okay, so he does come up here and pick up. That's where these 2 come from. But these 2 Reavers... Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. Sky, sure, he can keep this base and establish it, but all of his production is dead, and this 3rd base is also dead thanks to this group that's coming in. And just overall, it is not a good position to be in if you happen to be Sky, so... Not bad. Honestly, not a bad game from Jaedong whatsoever. It was really... Once his 3rd base started getting massacred, that was it. So good job by Sky. Had a pretty good game. Was able to kill a bunch of drones, constantly storm dropping that main base, especially getting DTs in the mix. But Jaedong was just able to give more than he got, right? He denied this. He was able to take down that upgrade by using lurkers to take down a forge, which is not easy to do. I think it was just the 1 lurker hitting it. And then expanding pretty quickly to 4 bases. And the 5th base took some time. It was denied by Sky a bunch. It was a great back and forth game. Really nicely played by both players. And then this bottom left base was just gravy, man. That was just too much for Sky to handle, especially if his 3rd base was dead. So, 26 minutes and 47 seconds on the GG. 220,000 points for Jaedong, 180-something for Sky. Produce about 600 to 200, so out produced by 6 to 2. The kill-death ratio about 2 to 1 from Sky. Not going to work there. The math does not add up to get that win. Only one Zerg building died today, which is crazy. Oh, he killed his own one too, but I think Sky killed him based on this raise number. That's insane. And then resources. This is usually the key number here, but it informs everything else, right? But 15,000 more resources today, maybe a little bit less for Jaedong, and that'll do in about 26 minutes. The Ultras had great upgrades. The Ultras were strong. I do love to see Ultras against Protoss. We don't see them a bunch, right? Man, incredible. But it's very fun when they do show up. All right, good. So that right there is going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching. You take care of yourself.